Well, hi, good morning, and thank you so much for joining me here in my shop. Today is October 25th. Oh my gosh, November's just around the corner. Oh boy. The weather here is really weird. Dark, gray, a little bit rainy, but 17 degrees outside, which is bizarrely warm. It's, the first thing this morning. Can't find the right place to put the camera here. 17 degrees, oh my gosh. Okay, so how about the mystery with this radio? So I think a mystery anyway, and I've talked about it a couple of times already, is what went on with this capacitor which is disconnected. What happened? Where's the replacement capacitors? Is this one of them here? Where's the other one? What's going on? So that's what I want to work on today. I want to resolve this issue of what happened here. So I think one of the things I can do, I started to do it yesterday, was, well, we can do this. We can look at the diagram of components and see if there's any in here, like maybe this guy, who's not on the chart, who really shouldn't be in there. So let me get that set up and we'll start working on that. And you know what? I gotta fill my coffee cup with coffee. Yeah. Before we get going on the radio though, let me show you something I think you might find interesting. So this is an old rectifier tube. This is a number 80 rectifier tube. I was testing it yesterday. This tube's no good. You're going to see something interesting in it. What I want to show you is this is the getter material. It's a little hard to. You see that it's not a nice round, thing like it usually is. The edges are very ragged on it. It's really hard to see in the camera. I don't know how else to show it, but it's even hard to see with my eyes. Very ragged. Let's put it in the tester here and see what happens. Well, I already know what's going to happen. Okay, so this is already set up for number 80. Okay. Jim, would you bring down the house lights? Figure out how to plug it in. Now, you can see the glow here. I should have grabbed the other camera. Okay, here we are. So on the left side you can see the heater and a bit of purpley color in the camera did I say right side? On the left side. On the right side you see this blue color just beaming out of the tube there. Now this tester is does one plate at a time here. Let me flip. You see now the other plate is glowing. What's the glow? You don't normally see a glow. The reason the plate on the right is not glowing is I've turned the plate voltage off with the switch. I can switch it back and forth here. What's going on in there? Look right down close. Yeah, I wonder if I can get a much better camera view of it. Let's try it. Just hold on a moment. I'm just gonna maximize the focus here and see if we can see right down into the tube. There's something in particular I'm curious about. Okay, just 1 second here. Okay, let's try this. Might be too bright for the camera. Yeah, I think I'd have to do a lot more here to get a really good image of that. What I wanted to see was how uniform that glow is. Is the glow close to the grid? Is it close to the cathode? Bright? Is it duller out towards the when you move out towards the plate. Can't see it. What's going on there? How come my tube's all aglow? And the answer is, there's gas in that there tube. So what's happening is, there's unionized gas, probably, excuse me, air molecules, maybe oxygen molecules from air that's gotten inside the tube. And the electrons are being accelerated through that rare gas or thin air. Some of the electrons are moving at a speed sufficient that if they knock into one of the air molecules, they will knock an electron off. But there's lots of electrons available inside a tube like that, and so an electron will very quickly find its way back onto the ion, deionizing it, and sending out a photon of light. Blue light, I guess. Blue. Now that's oxygen, isn't it? Isn't it oxygen that glows blue? Wasn't that blue similar to what our atmosphere looks like? I don't know, maybe I'm stretching things a little bit there. But there you are. Gassy tube. What did we see? The getter appeared to be disturbed, worn out, flaking off, something happening to the getter, and the tube ending up having some amount of gas in it. Interestingly enough, the tube tests good, but I don't think it is. There we are. Okay, now back to the central mystery at hand here. Damn, you can put the house lights back up. There we go. The central mystery. Okay, I'm going to get this view set up to make this as easy as possible to sort this out. Okay, I think I've got most of the diagram on the screen there. We can compare it directly to the radio. So here's the capacitor I'm talking about, and you can see it over here on the diagram, the little square box. And what I'm quite curious about is finding this one, this guy. So this one appears on there. It's oriented. I can do this. I'll do this. Okay, it's right here, oriented differently. Now there's another one in the diagram right here. Where's this guy? So it shows it connected from this terminal. I'm just following the other end of this capacitor is on ground terminal here. So we follow this wire. Oh, it's really hard to follow. Let me follow it here. So we're following from this pin, this one right here. We're following this wire. Oh my gosh, I'm going to go crazy. Why? It goes to a terminal on the resistor. So here we see, no we don't. I was going to say we see a wire going from here to the resistor, but there's a wire tying this terminal to this terminal. Does that appear on there? Let me just zoom in a bit here. So there's a wire going from this terminal to this terminal. Is that right? It's a solid wire. And then this terminal, but I got something totally wrong. This terminal attaches to this blue resistor, which then goes to ground. So we have a terminal, wire, terminal, resistor, ground. Terminal, no wire. Terminal, here's a resistor right here, 600. Yeah, to ground. So this is, oh, I thought that was the capacitor. I thought that was a capacitor. That's this resistor. What's this capacitor here? Okay, so look at this thing. This is another one of these little plates. It's like this, only it's a small guy. He's got this component, which I think is a capacitor. This black thing you have trouble seeing in the camera that it's even there, but there's something right here. Then we got a resistor. A resistor off of here. This capacitor, I think, is a replacement for one that was right in here. Let me look at the diagram again. I'm going to zoom in on this part of the diagram. So it turns out maybe a lot of changes have been made to this radio. I kind of doubt it, but terminal board, I think, is what that stands for. Let me see, at the top here is a 3400 picofarad, so it should be some kind of capacitor. That's what this must be. Then below it, right below it, is a, what is that? It looks like R10 and something else. Well, take a look. Let's look even closer at this. So what they've got here is R10 and would look like ME4. I don't know what ME4 would be. Oh, meg. Meg, like down here, meg. So this is R6, 1.1 meg, R10, well, that could be a 2 meg. No capacitor here, except for here. Where's this resistor? So a resistor and a resistor. Oh yeah, okay, so a resistor and a resistor. This being a pretty weird one. Talking about weird, what's that sound? What's that sound? Let us look and see. One of the owners of the house has shown up. Yeah, what do you want? Uh-oh, she's come. Don't make me come in here. Uh-oh, she's come in. What? What are you doing? Outside? Is that what you'd like to do? You'd like to go outside? Well, she's not very talkative. Okay, I have to go and take the cat outside. Oh my gosh. Okay, you just ponder the situation here while I run up and make my cat happy. Okay, back to what we're doing. We're just going to kind of swim around here a little bit, I think, as we try to sort this out. So, this comes down to a nice blue wire, but you can see it's really not visible. There's a capacitor right here, coming right off of this terminal here. So maybe it's just out of view. Let me just, oh, can I do this? Yeah, I can. Okay, so we'll follow that wire. Follow that wire. The wire we're following is the bottom one here. One of the two bottom ones. It's a yellow one that goes north, goes through the hole here, and heads up to one of the IF transformers. So it's the other lead is the capacitor. Okay, that other lead. So it's this lead here. Probably goes to a capacitor. Oh, it does not go to a capacitor. What's going on here? This is a terminal, or a piece of the chassis actually bent out into a terminal, and then you solder stuff to it. Well, that doesn't add up at all. There's a capacitor in here, or is there another? Well, if there's a wire also, then what's the use of the capacitor? It'd be shorted out. Can it be somewhere else? I mean, if this point is supposed to be grounded, well, that would put a ground, like a direct chassis ground, on this yellow wire too. Let's find these things. This is on the schematic. This is R6. and L9, L10, L9 and L10. L10 is the wire's going to. 3 terminals on the bottom, 1 on the top of the radio. Yellow wire up from here, going there. Okay, let's go look. Oops, wrong way. The schematic, I'm going to put this upright so we don't go crazy looking at it. Okay, what was that number again? R what? R10? I forgot. No, for crying out loud. Now this is turned sideways. That means I'll be turned sideways too. Oh boy, not what I wanted to have happen. Here we are. R6, R7, R6 and R6, R6. Okay, I think I remember R6 now. R6. There's R6. So, oh my gosh, it's not doing anything at all like the R6, 1.1 megohm. That's what it shows on the diagram, on the other diagram, 1.1 megohm. One lead connected into the IF can, and the other lead going to the volume control. Okay, leaving it sideways. This is R6. One lead going to the IF, but another wire going to ground. Oh. So here's a capacitor. This is what's in the radio. But when you look down here, they don't show it. So there's a 0.05 capacitor here, not shown on this diagram. Yikes. That raises all kinds of questions. Okay. Well, that explains what the capacitor is that's in this line. It's the one that's in this schematic here. How odd is this? You know, it's possible they did 3 or 4 versions of each of these diagrams, the schematic and the part layout, the wiring diagram down here. And they may have just updated this one and not updated the other, or something of that sort may have happened. Did the guys sign their diagrams? Is there any signatures on any of these? No. See? They're hiding away. Well, okay, so that explains the anomaly here. Oh my gosh, you know what, I've been looking at the full schematic and you've been looking at a piece of it on here, and I'm sorry, I probably had stuff on my screen that you couldn't see and I was talking about, so sorry about that, but we're going forward here. So we now know that this is on the schematic. What about this guy? So if we look on the parts layout diagram now, I'll really honker down. Let me turn it proper way. Okay, so that capacitor is sitting over here, supposedly. Now, this is a little odd. What's this guy right here? Just a piece of insulated wire. Well, why do they show some of these wires insulated? Like this one. I mean, maybe it's shielded and it's just not apparent. This looks more like a shielded wire here. The way they've shown it. This is different. Don't know. This one is showing this one's showing the same style as this with the dashed line inside. That can't be a shielded piece of wire in there, could it? Is it even in there? Are you even? Yeah, I'm doing it again, aren't I? I'm talking away about something that's not on the screen. Oh my gosh, I can't even get it onto the screen. If I shrink this. Son of a gun. Well, I'm sorry about this. I'm trying a little screen thing here. It's not working out so well. There's the limits. So now you see the whole thing. Okay, now I can safely talk about this. And what I've been talking about is over here. Is this little piece of wire right in here. And now it's small enough you can't really see it. Shoot. Tricky business getting this on the screen, by the way. Like this. Well, let's carry on. So we have this big capacitor sitting here. It's going from a terminal on the resistor here to ground. This could go anywhere to ground, but it would be on this terminal. So let's look at this terminal. Try to find a capacitor. I think I'm staring right at it here. And you can't see it. Bah! Okay, it's all getting pretty tiny, but it's right here. What is this thing? Okay, I need to do something here to fix this so we can zoom in and see this. There we go. Okay, we're going to study this. We'll flip back and forth. Okay, fantastic. Now I'm in. So here. What's this? What is this guy? So here we see something. Sure appears to be connected to the first terminal on the big resistor. Well, they've written the resistances right in here too. Handy. And what's this link out here? Wave trap. Link. Does that exist on the radio? I'm just looking. I don't know that. This is the antenna terminal here. Link. Okay, don't know what they're talking about with link. Whoops. Let's go back on this thing and zoom in a bit further on it. C38.25 clamp. It almost looks like an open style capacitor like these other ones that we've seen here and there in this radio. Like, look at this one. Clamp. What are they talking about, clamp? So this is only a 0.25, and the capacitor in the radio, which you can't see now, would look like it's a 10 microfarad. So if a 10 microfarad hooked up here, why is there a 10 microfarad somewhere around here? Sitting in another position, the person replaced it and stuck it where it is now, and I just have to find it where it was. Oh my gosh, we'll have to follow each one of these wires out. How do you get to a 10? You go up here and you go way over here. No. Okay, you follow up here. No. You follow this way. Output. No. You go further. So you're hooked up to this terminal, but you can go further. R15, and then here's a capacitor. Well, that's no 10. That's no 10 microfarad capacitor there. That's something else. Oops, and that's on the board. So we can also go this way. Okay, follow it again to here. Top of the 3 lines. out to the speaker. Let's just, so we have a 10 on here. The 0.25 appears to be missing, or I haven't spotted it yet. None of these wires run to anything like a 10 microfarad capacitor. Why would somebody put a 10 here right to ground? What is this point? This is the top of the resistor. How can we identify this? Absolutely. Well, it's got this thing, C38 attached to it. So look at the resistor, find C38, we'll know we're at the top, and we'll just examine how this relates to a 10 microfarad capacitor. Okay, so we go up to the here, flip this around, and that pretty much does it for my head right there. We're looking for the resistor, here's the big resistor, and that's how a 10 gets hooked up to it. See, so that makes sense. So that 10 there makes sense. You know, and the original one was an 8. And where it's positioned, I'm not sure. So anyway, so that explains that capacitor. Now we got to hunt down. Let me just check something here. This is 35 and 30 and 36. 35 and 36. I just want to be sure of something. 35 and 36. Where are you? Here we are. 34 and 16. So 35 and 36 are not. It's not this. 35 and 36 is that other, the t'other. And where is it? It's down. It's in this area. Here it is, right there. It says right there, 10 microfarad. Oh, so 35. But this one's missing this resistor. But it's also wired differently. Well, what has gone on here that has prompted these changes? Just the removal of that one capacitor? That's not even the same capacitor. Am I making any sense? So the capacitor I'm looking at right now, this one, 35, and the other one, where is it in here? Where is it? There's got to be another capacitor called what? So we got 35 at 10. Where's 36? Where is 36 on here? Where is 36? 34. It says 16, not 36. I'm just looking at them all now. Well, I could do this for quite a while without finding it, and then find it later. 38. Where are you, 36? Now, maybe right in front of me, you may have spotted it. I mean, it should be a fairly large capacitor. It can't be. I mean, it's similar in size to this one. It should be physically similar in size to this one. Well, what is going on here? Oh, it's another case of these two diagrams don't match. The diagram and the schematic, they don't match. So I found this guy, but I haven't found this guy. Well, this guy, he's supposed to be right at the start of the field coil from the output. He'd be hooked up potentially right to a terminal on the Oh, it's a number 80. That's the glowing tube I showed you was a number 80 also. How would we spot this wire-wise? Well, there's only 3 wires coming back from here. One of them's got to lead us to this capacitor. Three wires coming back from the speaker. There's no color. They didn't put a color here. They did not put a color. But one side goes to the top of the resistor. It's the other side that should have the capacitor on it. Oh my god. Oh my, this is gonna mutter. Okay. Okay, and you're just looking at a chunk of the schematic there. So we want to look at the wires coming from the speaker. One of them, so this yellow one is hooked up to this capacitor. So the other one is coming to this terminal, follows this wire, hooked up to this capacitor. What's the story on this one? This one is connected to the tone control over here. There's got to be a tone capacitor. Maybe I'm mistaken in that, of course. Let's see what it says on the diagram about this capacitor here. Okay, so that capacitor is this one right here. Looks like what? C32.005. Wait a minute. That's this capacitor. There's a bunch of... What's going on here? This doesn't add up at all. Because this isn't even on the diagram. It's sitting, it would be sitting right here. So you have C31 written there, C31 written there. Well, what's that mean? The capacitor's in behind? Would they do that? This isn't plugged in or anything, is it? No. There's no components on the back side of this. Oh, there is a capacitor back there. You little troublemaker. See it back there? I'm pointing at it with my finger as best I can. That's a pretty... That might be electrolytic. Now, is that one showing on the board? So if it were shown on the board, it would be shown here in dotted lines, or they would label it. Oh, it's labeled C25, C25. So they haven't drawn it just to confuse guys like me. So, okay, so C25 is behind here. But 25 is not what we're looking for. What else is hidden in here? C26, C28, C30, C28, C30. So it's saying there's a capacitor from here over to here. Wow, no, this just isn't working out at all. Okay, so C31 could potentially have been installed in behind. C31 is, let's go down to the parts list for that. C31. C31. 0.017. Well, that's no... That's not a 10 microfarad. Yikes! Wow, this is you know, if the radio wasn't humming, I wouldn't care so much about this situation. But the radio is humming away, If I put that speaker into the cabinet, it's going to really hum. It's going to be an annoying hum for sure. It's not a nice, warm, quiet hum, I don't think, once it's in the cabinet. What am I going to do now? You know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to stop, drink coffee, think about this situation here. It's just becoming more and more unstable for me. That's about the best way to put it. Okay, break time. Well, come with me on this little journey. So I've been studying the diagrams and whatnot for a while, just leaving this on its side. But if you look way over here on the right, you see C25.005. C25. Now I have been looking for 35. Here's 35, 10 microfarads. Okay, but let's go back. 25. Okay, 25. Now, where is 25 in this radio? I'll show you where it is. We come up and we look at the what they call the resistor board, the thing with the capacitors on it. We find right here. Can you read that? C25. And the other terminal is right up here. C25. And that's the capacitor I found behind the board. C25.005. Let's take a look at that resistor now. Or capacitor, rather. Okay, take this camera here. So here's the board. These are the terminals where C25 should be connected. Oh, I may have a focus problem with this camera. And the capacitor would be in behind. Oh my gosh, it's right here. It's right here. This is a, can I get the other side of this? Often the paper covers will rotate on these, but it won't rotate on this one. 0.005, so that's the capacitor right there. Okay, well that kind of blows away what I was about to show you. What I was about to show you was if you look down the back behind this thing, and can we even do it with the camera? You can almost see the value on that capacitor. You see the number 8? Can you see the number 8? That's what it is. It's an 8 microfarad capacitor. Oh, this just gets even worse. I thought I'd solve something. So that capacitor is not tied to this. It's tied to the second terminal here. That's the wire coming around from it, sneaking around. That's kind of odd too, in a way. And the other wire from it, oh my gosh, can I even see it? The other wire, hard to get a clear view of it here because it's got this big honking wire in front of it, which I don't want to bend. There's a ground terminal right there you're looking at. Is that what the capacitor is hooked up to? I think the capacitor is hooked up to this terminal right here. This one right here. Okay, let me take a look with my own eyes here. It's crazy how hard it can be to see some things in these radios, but I can't see it. I can't see it. Okay, let's switch cameras. Just ignore what you see on the right side. I'm not going to deal with it right now. So there we are. So that's the one that's shown. The other capacitor is connected from here to here. So it appears. Wow. It just managed to hide the lead so well. Okay, I've seen it. It definitely comes to here. So these two terminals have a big 8 microfarad capacitor on them. How's that compare to the schematic and other things? So we'll look first on well, I don't know. Okay, so it's oh. So, well, what's going on here? This capacitor is connected to this terminal. It's not connected here. It's connected over here. C32. And this shows C31 going from here to here. I was looking at the wrong end of the board. No, now I'm looking at the wrong end of the board. Oh my god. How stupid can I get? There's a similar capacitor at either end of the board. Which end's which? For crying out loud. Well, this diagram shows me which end's which. This is the end I've been studying up here. So, okay, right. So, yeah, I started looking at the wrong end. Yeah, that's a sign that's time for me to stop completely. Well, that's not stop though. So we do have the capacitor C25 connected here. In behind is an 8 microfarad capacitor connected between here and here. This is going to ground. Is it really? Pin number 2. Yes, it is. That's a grounded terminal. Okay, so now we know one side of that 8 is going to ground. The other side is connected here. Now, what all's this? So this goes on a black wire to the bottom of the volume control. Bottom or top. And then in behind is an 8 microfarad capacitor. That doesn't make sense, does it? Going to ground? Put an 8 microfarad capacitor. Well, it could make sense. 8 microfarads to ground off of the volume control. 8 microfarads to ground off of the volume control. Where? Not there. Look at that. Look at that. That says 4, not 8. Bypass. That's an awfully large bypass capacitor for a small duty tube. And what's this one? This is a 0.1. That's more typical. And this guy's got a 0.1, which is also more typical. This is a very large one. That's what that probably is. But there's an 8 installed there instead of a 4. And a 5,000 ohm resistor in between. Is that really there? Why don't we look for this R12 and see if I'm on track, because maybe I'm not. R12. Here's R12. And the other they show it here. This is the shield. This is a ground. So R12 to ground, and the capacitor was too big to install here. They installed it here with its own ground. But this also has R16 on it. R16 was that the whoops, wrong way. Was that the bypass? The cathode resistor, rather. Oh, I'm totally lost. R12, 5,000 ohms. R12. R12. Okay, so we're going to read the resistance from here to here. No. Yeah, we could, because this is a grounded terminal anyway, or from here to here. We should see the resistor going from here to here. Okay, that's what we should see. Let's see. Let's see what we see. Okay. We should see a resistor going from here to a center terminal. There it is. So this is the 5,000 ohm. Looks to be in great shape. Is it really 5,000 ohms? I find when you're working on these radios, inevitably towards the start there's a period of tremendous confusion. So that's what I find. And it's augmented by things like, information not adding up, conflicting information, that kind of stuff. I guess that's the same thing, isn't it? 5,000 ohms. What do you say here? Oh my gosh, it doesn't. Wow. Okay. Everybody calibrate your meters. Wow. That's surprising. Dead on. Right on. Right on the money. Okay, so now we've sorted out everything. So we know the 8 that's back there, and maybe they upped it. Maybe, as the production went on, they upped the size of this capacitor from 4 to 8. So there's an 8 there, but we still haven't found what happened to these guys, have we? What I'm finding is the electrolytic capacitors are out in other parts of the circuit. And what I'm also finding is I'm really confused myself here with all this stuff. Okay, so how do we explain this one again? And we also have this thing, which don't appear on the diagram. Do they? So this one you can see, like, this is connected to the resistor, there's no question. And then it's over to here. But that's not showing that way on there at all. Let's slide this a little further over. So we're coming from the resistor. Where's the resistor? Did I not turn this thing? I didn't turn this thing on its side. Okay, so that's okay. Yeah, let me turn it. Okay, so here's the resistor going up the side of the radio. Second terminal up. Second terminal up is this one. Oh. Oh, it just shows it grounded. Second terminal up, it says R17 on it. Oh, this must be R17 right in here. That must be how they're doing this. So R18, R19, R20, R17, that's how they're doing it. So we would look in for R17, or the bottom of this resistor. R17 at the bottom. We want the second terminal up. This shows it going to ground. And that radio, oh, I'm sorry, it's not on the screen again. I'm not going to do this kind of stuff. Oh, I'm so sorry. So I'm pointing away at stuff that's not on the screen for you to see. Let me switch things here. Wow, yeah, I've really been in here. I've been in here too long. This is too much for me. My little brain is all burned up on this at this point. So what I'm talking about are these two terminals. In the radio, this one has a capacitor running over to a central terminal right here. This thing says C29 on there and C29 here. As if there's a little capacitor. Oh my gosh, I don't see it. Oh no. This is just not matching at all. This just is not working out. The wire goes from here over to here and then to the first terminal. The first terminal wire goes to there, and then there's a wire. Well, good grief. Doesn't seem to go in the same place. Oh my gosh. The whole strategy here is failing. Whole strategy failing. My strategy was figure out what's been done to the radio by somebody else, if anything, or maybe maybe it's just confusion from me trying to figure stuff out and getting it wrong initially. Sort that out, get a grip on what's going on with this radio, in particular what's happened with this capacitor. Once I understand the story, then it'll be clear what the path forward is. But what's happening is I'm not understanding the story. The story is getting more and more convoluted all the time. And that's either because, again, I'm making all kinds of wrong observations and just getting things mixed up in my head or whatever it might be. Or the reality is the schematic does not match the part layout, does not match the radio, does not match what I imagine is going on. Wow. You take away 3 of those things, you know what you're left with. You're left with that. That's exactly how I'm feeling here. So, you know, I am after a problem. The problem is the radio hums. Otherwise, it seems at this point to be working quite well. So maybe I need a new strategy. Maybe my strategy should be how to get rid of this hum. Even that's a little difficult when you don't know what has happened to this radio, why it's wired the way it's wired, and what things may have been altered in it. And I'm not suggesting the last guy did anything wrong. The radio's working except for the hum. So maybe I need a new strategy here, because I don't think I'm going to be able to sort this out without a superhuman effort. I mean, maybe the amount of effort required to sort out what's really happened in this radio is way beyond what might be required if I just find another strategy forward. I can avoid a whole pile of brain-teasing strain and stress here with this guy. Yeah, I'm afraid I think I'm going to stop. I don't think I got anything really done today. I think I'm leaving the shop really pretty much the same state as when I came in, unfortunately. But I will spend another day thinking about this, and then tomorrow I will try to take some kind of approach that can move things forward with this radio. I mean, you know, there is the very clear option. Just replace it part for part. Just replace this. Replace everything just with exactly the same size of part. But I'm pretty sure that will leave the radio humming. You know what? I don't even know that. I don't really know that. I don't know that. Maybe if I replace the electrolytic one here and the electrolytic one here, maybe that's the 2 that replace this. I don't know. Stop thinking. Jim, you're done. You go drink coffee and have fun with your radio antennas today. That's a better idea. So thanks a lot for watching. Sorry it's just a massive confusion and some bad video work here and there. But it is what it is. I can't change it from what it is. See you tomorrow.